Good afternoon, Supervisors. I'm Alan Asch. I'm co-chair of the Sacramento Area Chapter of the ACLU. The ACLU believes, just as a principle, that the powers we give to police are so awesome they must be constrained by strong community oversight, which is why our chapter has been calling for years for a community-based oversight board with subpoena power. But beyond that principle, as I told you when I was here last December, our particular sheriff, through his dishonesty, lack of ethics, and lawlessness, has given us the gift of so many examples showing why this oversight is necessary. Because of my limited time, I'll just give you one example showing all three of these qualities of our sheriff from 2014, when the Trust Act went into effect in California, preventing him from turning people over to ICE except when they had committed certain serious crimes. Our sheriff held a press conference making the dishonest claim he could not follow both the Trust Act and federal law, and because he's also a lawyer, that was unethical. And then he spent over a month refusing to follow the state law, which, of course, refusing to follow the law is lawless. And finally, in February of that year, he started saying he was going to follow the Trust Act around the time he was sued by Martin Del Agua for violating it. But information continues to come out about more violations, including that lawsuit from Enrique Nambo just this month saying that he was turned over to ICE in violation of state law. Our sheriff has also shown us the need for strong oversight by his lack of accountability and transparency when it comes to use of force. In many cases, like those of Adrian Ludd, Ryan Ellis, and of course, Michael McIntyre. I say, of course, Michael McIntyre, because as you all know, that's the case where the sheriff reacted to the slightest criticism of his deputy's use of force by shutting down all oversight of his department for over a year now, effectively firing the inspector general meant to oversee him. This lack of cooperation is labeled willful misconduct in our county charter, another example of lawlessness, and merely hiring another MG, even with this new MOU, does not give us the oversight with anywhere near the power necessary to meet the scope of the problem our sheriff has created. After almost a decade of this dishonest, unethical, lawless sheriff, Sacramento needs real sheriff oversight to restore trust with the community, barely more than half of whom re-elected him. That's why we need an oversight board that's community-based, that has subpoena power, that can really hold our sheriff accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Curran Hamilton.
Hi there, board. Thank you for having me. My name is Curran Hamilton. I'm a resident of District 3. I'm not going to be as good a speaker as the other folks who have stood up here and said all that you should need to hear. I think you've heard this over and over again, that this sheriff needs more oversight, and you are trying to implement more oversight because he is so lawless. But we do continue to call for the development of an independent civilian review board, which includes subpoena power to oversee the sheriff's department. This is going to be the best way to make sure that he is not continuing to commit crimes. I was going to use an example from another state about the example that just happened last week in Florida of the police shooting several innocent civilians in the process of apprehending a criminal. But I don't think we even need to go to other states to look at this problem. It is a Sacramento problem, and people here have shared all of those issues with you in the last couple minutes. So again, civilian review board with subpoena power, and enable the Office of the Inspector General to be independent so that it can scrutinize any Sheriff's Department irregularities. I'll repeat the call to not use someone who's been handpicked by the sheriff to oversee the sheriff. I think I will end my comments there. I don't have much more to say. I just encourage you to move forward with a civilian review board. Thank you.
Thank you.